It has been 8 years now since Tony Robinson was fatally shot by a Madison officer. Tonight, his family hosts a vigil as many continue their push for justice.
Plus, a new push for safe haven boxes in Wisconsin after a baby was found dead in a field in Walworth County.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5. 8 years ago today, 19-year-old Tony Robinson was shot and killed by Madison police officer Matt Kenny.
Tonight, we're taking a look back at the case as his family continues to push for justice. Kenny shot Robinson on March 6, 2015. That same year, Dane County District Attorney Ishmael Ozan decided not to file charges against Officer Kenny, calling Robinson's death, quote, the result of a lawful use of deadly police force.
Robinson's family believes the statements Officer Kenny made were not backed up by forensic or video evidence. As his grandmother continues different avenues to justice, the community continues to mourn Robinson with a rally tonight outside the home where he was killed.
And that is where we find our Arman Rahman tonight. Arman?
Eric and Susan, the rally is set to start in just about an hour, showing, of course, that even 8 years later, Robinson's death still stings hard for the community and his family. And on yesterday's For the Record on News 3 Now, Jessa Nicholson-Getz, the attorney representing Robinson's grandmother, shared how they're pursuing a little-known Wisconsin statute in which a judge may charge someone in a one-sided hearing if there is probable cause. Getz believes they can prove that with facts and testimony.
It'll be the responders and then use of force experts and pathologists. I think the probable cause is that an unarmed young man was shot multiple times and killed, and I believe that Officer Kenny did not follow police protocol. I don't believe that those shots were necessary.
The case has been much delayed due to the retiring of one judge and others who have recused themselves from the case. But of course, tonight is less about any legal proceedings and more about remembering Tony Robinson and his life. I'll bring you more as the event starts here at 6 o'clock on Willie Street. For now, live in Madison, Arman Rahman, News 3 Now.
We will see you at 6, Arman. Thank you. Another vigil is being held tonight, this one for a man who went missing in Grant County late last year.
The body of Ronald Henry was found over the weekend. The 34-year-old had been missing since December. His family told News 3 Now he had taken a trip to Platteville earlier that month. Officials say Sunday a teen was walking in the woods in Ellenboro when he found a body in the ravine there, about a mile south of where Henry had last been seen. It's unclear how he died. An autopsy will be conducted later this week.
Our McKenna Alexander joins us now from Platteville with more details on tonight's vigil. McKenna?
Yeah, right now we're at City Hall Park, where this pavilion behind me is going to be home for a vigil later tonight at 6:30. Now, just right now on Facebook, on a page that was searching for and tracking Ronald's disappearance, friends and family are just showing a lot of emotion tonight. They're confused, they're hurt, they're not sure exactly how this happened. They're searching for a lot of answers that hopefully will be coming out in the next few weeks. Now, it has been reported that a lot of Ronald's family is in Milwaukee, so we are unsure if they'll be attending tonight's vigil. Though the local auditor that is organizing this event tonight, I am speaking with her in about 15-20 minutes here or so. So at 6, we will be hearing from her as to why she's organizing this and how it feels to have something happen like this so close to her home. But for right now, live in Platteville, McKenna Alexander, News 3 Now.
All right, McKenna, thank you. We want to turn to weather now. Let's get a look at your first warn forecast. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti out on the weather patio. Gary?
Well, guess what? We've got another alert day in the forecast for Thursday night and Friday for the next winter storm. But just like last week, a couple of days before that storm gets close to us. Let's start out by taking a look at the first warn weather alert day. This is for Thursday night and Friday. Right now, we're looking at a moderate snowfall, probably in the 3 to 6 inch range, although it could be a little more than that. Might be a little bit less, but right now, most of the computer models are in pretty good agreement on at least that kind of a snowfall that we can expect. Tonight, just some light snow showers mixed in with a little rain, mainly north of Wisconsin Dells, heading through Marquette and Green Lake counties. That'll head to areas north of Beaver Dam over the next hour or so, but I think by about 6 or 7 o'clock, most of the activity will be out of southern Wisconsin. High temperatures today, 41 Madison, 48 in Janesville. To the north, temperatures stayed in the 30s up toward the Dells, and right now, Janesville's still at 41, but Madison has dropped to 35. It's 34 degrees in Camp Douglas across Dane County, 39 degrees in Edgerton in the far southeastern portion of the county. To the northwest, 34 the current temperature in Sauk City. Otherwise, this evening, look for mostly cloudy skies. Most areas will be dry. Temperatures holding nearly steady in the middle 30s. Later on, I'll take a look at that first warn weather alert day and how much snow we can expect over much of the Midwest in just a few minutes.
Gary, thank you. Heartbreaking news this weekend as we learned Whitewater police are investigating after a baby was found dead in a field.
It is prompting renewed calls for greater awareness of Wisconsin's safe haven laws. Catherine Merck shares how some are trying to take those laws a step further. Catherine?
Eric and Susan, it's the goal of one activist I spoke to bring baby drop boxes to Wisconsin, something the law doesn't allow for right now. Currently, a person must hand off a baby to another person in law enforcement or at a hospital. And while they don't have to use their name or address in most cases, the person-to-person contact doesn't make it fully anonymous. One Republican lawmaker who's been heavily involved in the state's safe haven laws says that's intentional for now.
Wisconsin does not currently have those. You relinquish to a person. And for a number of reasons, Wisconsin has felt that's really good policy.
A baby Dropbox bill was introduced in 2019 but hasn't become law. I'll introduce you to the Madison activist I spoke to tonight on News 3 Now at 6 o'clock, who firmly believes that Dropboxes could have the potential to eliminate the kind of death that happened in Whitewater in the future.
Catherine, thank you. We have new details and reaction tonight after Beloit Memorial High School basketball players found racial slurs and a swastika in their locker room while visiting Muskego High School for a game. Gabriella Becerra has more.
Muskego Norway Schools is apologizing for behavior that they say occurred during a boys basketball game between Muskego High School and Beloit Memorial High School on Friday.
It was tough. It was tough to watch because our kids are there just to play basketball.
Ashley Herford, the mother of a Beloit Memorial varsity basketball player, calls the actions she witnessed from Muskego students appalling and offensive.
Clearly what they were trying to portray with their student section, they were trying to depict what they thought that our Black culture and what our kids dress like.
We're blurring viewer photos and videos showing racial slurs and swastikas that were drawn in the dust on top of gym lockers.
And that's how they were welcomed into the locker room. It was just a lot.
A statement from the district says Muskego High School learned of these allegations after the game. Beloit Memorial's athletic director sent an email sharing concerns about the theme of the student section and racist images.
I certainly didn't expect to hear this.
Muskego Norway Schools says it's taking these allegations seriously. The district is investigating what happened with the help of the Muskego Police Department. This includes working with Beloit administrators, interviewing students, reviewing the game broadcast, and assessing the school environment. Muskego Norway School Board member Kevin Zimmerman says if these allegations are true, it wasn't called for.
Let's wait for the full investigation to happen before jumping to conclusions.
The district says consequences for inappropriate actions will be prompt.
We're tired, we're exhausted of having to be the bigger person.
That was Gabriella Becerra reporting. Beloit administrators say they are taking part in Muskego's investigation. Madison city leaders say they plan to file a lawsuit against Kia and Hyundai, alleging the car manufacturers have failed to install anti-theft technology in their vehicles. Those made by both manufacturers have been targets of widespread thefts over the past year because of security vulnerabilities. Thefts have become so pervasive that local police departments have offered up steering wheel locks and recommended theft prevention software updates to deter would-be thieves.
When I learned that 90+% of other makes and models have a really common sense theft prevention devices in them and programming in them, and that Kia and Hyundai don't, that just felt like, listen, this is an industry best practice that wasn't followed, and it has cost a lot of time and energy.
According to Madison police, Kia and Hyundai thefts in the summer of last year increased by 270% compared to 2021. Madison's Common Council will vote on whether or not to authorize the city's lawsuit during tomorrow's meeting.
Breaking tonight, UW-Madison men's hockey coach Tony Granado has been fired. The UW Athletic Department made that announcement this afternoon following a second straight season where the Badgers finished under 500. Granado was hired back in 2016 after Mike Eves was fired. The Badgers finished as Big Ten runners-up in his first season, won the conference in the 2020-21 season. Fortunes turned last season, though, as the Badgers finished 10-24-3 winning just 6 games in the conference. Things didn't get any better this year. The team ending the season with a 13-23 record. And again, just 6 conference wins. In a statement, UW Athletic Director Chris McIntosh said he has great appreciation for the heart and soul that Granado has poured into the program during his time as head coach. In a little more than 2 weeks, former Wisconsin Supreme Court Justice Dan Kelly and Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge Janet Protasewicz will face off in a debate organized by News 3 Now, along with WISC Politics and the State Bar. That debate will be held on Tuesday, March 21st at 12:45 p.m. in Madison. It'll be at the State Bar Center on East Park Boulevard. It is open to the public, and those interested in attending should RSVP to the State Bar of Wisconsin. Then at 4 p.m., News 3 Now will broadcast the debate in place of Live at 4. It'll also be streamed at channel3000.com and Channel 3000 Plus.
Well, the weather may be starting to warm up a little bit, but the need for help to cover the costs of heating and cooling doesn't go away.
And News 3 Now is once again partnering with the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and Energy Service, Inc. for a day of warmth, a telethon and donation drive to raise money for those in need all across the state. It'll be held this Thursday afternoon between 4 and 6:30 p.m., but you can donate ahead of time. There's more information at channel3000.com. Coming up, dozens of people are now facing terrorism charges after a protest turns violent in Georgia.
Plus, more issues for the air and rail industries after another close call at an airport and a second train derailment in Ohio. We'll have the details next at 5. And later, more details on a constitutional amendment that will be on your ballot this April, what it could mean for defendants' bail amounts. We'll have that story tonight at 6.
Mixed numbers to start the week on Wall Street. The Dow up more than 40 points, with the NASDAQ falls back 13. The S&P 500 adds almost 3. We'll be right back.
The Big Share and Online Day of Giving is March 7th. Advance social and environmental justice by supporting the nearly 70 nonprofit members of Community Shares of Wisconsin. Even a $5 donation can make change happen. Donate now through March 7th at thebigshare.org.
Anytime Fitness is having a 10-day flash sale. For 10 days only, you can join Anytime Fitness for just $1. Get a coach and a community to support you with training, nutrition, and recovery. Now through March 10th, join Anytime Fitness for just $1. Hurry in now. This deal won't last long.
A convicted felon kidnapped and raped a 15-year-old girl, abducting her off the street in broad daylight. Judge Janet Protasewicz could have sentenced him to 20 years. Instead, she put him back on our streets.
What detractors would say is you having been soft on a violent sexual crime.
I would say that that's ridiculous.
Judge Protasewicz puts our families at risk, and putting her on our Supreme Court, that's what's ridiculous. Fair Courts America is responsible for the content of this advertising.
This year, say yes.
I couldn't be more thrilled with my results. I'm over the moon happy. Look at that waist.
Yes to confidence.
I'm so happy. I just put this dress on that I haven't worn in over 10 years.
Yes to a new shape.
These are my results. I am so happy.
Yes to a new you.
I'm Dr. Elena Vega. Imagine you could remove this much fat from multiple areas all at one time.
Sono Bello's board-certified surgeons use micro laser technology to safely target and remove your diet-resistant fat cells for good.
I have the flattest tummy that I've had in 25 years.
I'm able to wear things that I never thought I would wear again.
I can wear a little black dress. I feel sexy.
Find out how you can get $250 off with our New Year exclusive offer. Call 1-800-993-0752 or go to...
Tonight on News 3 Now, following a newborn's death, the Whitewater community is looking for answers and solutions.
We explore current safe haven options and look at how one woman hopes to make finding solutions easier tonight at 6.
News 3 Now's Call for Action team gets results.
We're taking action for you.
Nearly 700 cases closed, more than $500,000 recovered, and we're not finished yet. When you need help, call for action only on News 3 Now. You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
New at 5, dozens of protesters were detained after a demonstration turned violent at the site of a planned police training facility just outside Atlanta. At least 23 people are now facing domestic terrorist charges. Surveillance video shows many of the protesters appear to be dressed in camo and masks, some even carrying shields. The video shows fireworks, rocks, even Molotov cocktails thrown at law enforcement. Now, no officers were hurt, but construction vehicles were torched at the location that opponents are calling Cop City.
Actions such as this will not be tolerated. When you attack law enforcement officers, when you damage equipment, you are breaking the law. And this was a very violent attack that occurred this evening. Very violent attack.
And environmental advocates are fighting to preserve the forest. Others say the facility could increase the militarization of police. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp tweeting this statement saying, in part, domestic terrorism will not be tolerated in this state. As we continue to respect peaceful protest, we will also continue to ensure safety in our communities.
Federal transportation and safety officials have new investigations to add to their list after another major train derailment in Ohio and 2 separate air travel incidents. Chris Wynn has the latest.
In West Central Ohio, anxious moments at this crossing as another Norfolk Southern freight train derails over the weekend. There were over 200 cars in the train. Norfolk Southern says 28 left the tracks near Springfield, more than 200 miles away from last month's derailment site in East Palestine.
Nothing had spilled onto the ground and very minimal material on the actual cars themselves that actually dried very quickly.
Local officials say this wreck doesn't pose an environmental hazard, and an NTSB team arrives Monday to investigate the derailment.
I think we need to sit down at the table, both the union and the carriers, and try to get some legislation passed in order to make the railroads a safer place.
At the toxic East Palestine site, removal of contaminated soil is underway.
We're going back and looking at everything from management systems, policies, practices, decision-making that set the conditions that allowed that derailment to occur in the first place.
Monday air travel hit a snag for some as 2 planes came in contact at Boston Logan Airport. The FAA says it's investigating after a United flight leaving for Newark hit another United jet as it was leaving the gate. No one was hurt. This after a Southwest flight bound for Fort Lauderdale Sunday filled with smoke following reported bird strikes.
People were screaming, not knowing what to do.
The carrier says it returned safely to Havana, Cuba without injuries. I'm Chris Wynn reporting.
Today, Norfolk Southern announced new reforms involving the hot bearing detectors believed to be central to the East Palestine derailment. The plan includes developing a digital train inspection program that uses artificial intelligence and ultra-high resolution cameras to identify defects and repairs on trains. Now to the weather once again. It's how many weeks have we been in this pattern, Gary? Like 5 in a row?
Yeah, 4 or 5. Last week we kind of missed out on that storm just to the south of us, but this week I don't think we're going to be quite as lucky. Now in the short term, we've got some light rain and snow showers up through Marquette and Green Lake counties over toward Kingsfield and Westfield, and then to the south, perhaps as far south as Beaver Dam. But these are moving to the east and should be out of the area within the next hour or two. You can see that on 6-hour future track radar. Not looking for anything else for the rest of the night. However, snowfall potential for Thursday night into Friday, a different story. We're probably looking at a general 3 to 6 inch snowfall through much of southern Wisconsin, with perhaps some heavier totals out toward the La Crosse area. We have a first warn weather alert day in the forecast for Thursday night and Friday for 3 to 6 inches of snow. Generally, there could be a little bit more than that, especially the farther north and west you go, but all of southern Wisconsin, I think, will be affected by this system. In fact, much of the Midwest will be affected by it. The heaviest snow will probably fall from around La Crosse back to south of the Twin Cities and back into the Dakotas, but a shift in the path of the storm a little bit could make a difference in the heavier snow. But notice how far south the accumulating snow goes, so I think there's a pretty good chance that we're going to get at least a couple of inches out of this, if not more, and that'll be enough for travel problems, but the heavier totals obviously will lead to bigger problems. The European computer model, one of the longer range computer models that we look at, shows the snow coming in by about 6 p.m. west of Madison. It snows light to moderately through the evening and overnight hours. That's 6 a.m., the heaviest snow right about the early morning hours. Then it starts to wind down by noon, and by 6 p.m., everything is off to the east of us. So it moves the storm fairly quickly. That would limit the amount of snow. Right now, it's showing some heavier totals out toward La Crosse area, but a couple of inches through much of southern Wisconsin. The GFS computer model, the U.S. longer range model, shows a more aggressive storm system. The snow moving in by early on Thursday evening, and you can see it covers much of southern Wisconsin. To the south, there'll be rain and maybe a little bit of a mix down toward the Wisconsin-Illinois state line, but mainly snow, and some of the snow could be heavy at times through the Madison area and back toward La Crosse. This is midnight, early Friday morning, 6 a.m. Friday. Again, the snow pretty heavy here. rain and snow down toward the Illinois state line, but transitioning back to snow as the colder air wraps around. And notice by noon, the snow is still covering much of southern Wisconsin before starting to pull out after the 6 p.m. rush hour, and then everything heads off to the east. This computer model shows a much different story. Heavier snow totals because of the fact that the storm would be a little more intense and also last for a longer period of time. So again, we're going to keep a very close eye on the forecast for Thursday night and Friday. Planning your night across Dane County, low 31 in Sun Prairie, 30 in Madison, 32 in Mazo-Maney with mostly cloudy skies. Rest of southern Wisconsin, 34 in La Crosse, 32 in Monroe. But notice it starts to clear out to the north and west. La Crosse drops to 29 degrees. For tomorrow, skies should be partly sunny. It'll be a mild day with a high temperature of 44. While it will be cloudy on Wednesday, high temperature still at 44 and a first warned 7 to 10 day forecast. Thursday, a mix of rain and snow shower chance in the afternoon, but that changes to snow Thursday night into Friday. Friday will be windy as well with the alert day, high 34. Saturday, dry, a chance of snow showers on Sunday with a high of 33, maybe a few flurries on Monday, and then temperatures start rebounding a couple degrees each day so that by Thursday, maybe some rain showers in the afternoon with the next weather system. As we check out your first warned traffic, here's the live view of the Beltline at Park Street. Traffic moving pretty well. A little bit of fog out there, but not too bad. Right now, not seeing any problems on the Beltline, I-39, 90, 94 on the east side of Madison. Travel times 15 minutes either way on the Beltline between University Avenue and the interstate. Heading out of Madison, 25 minutes from the Beltline to Janesville on I-39, 90. A quick 16 minutes from Middleton to Sauk City on US 12. And downtown to Sun Prairie, East Washington Avenue and US 151 takes you 18 minutes. That's your News 3 Now First Warned Traffic.
Gary, thank you. A victory for marine life over the weekend as United Nations diplomats from nearly 200 nations agreed on a treaty that protects large parts of the Earth's oceans. More than a decade of debate over funding and fishing rights had stalled the landmark treaty as the high seas remain vulnerable to chemical and plastic pollution, overfishing, and other threats.
There is a lot of destruction going on in the world's oceans. 90% of the big fish are gone. This is why we need to start urgently putting something back.
Well, once countries formally adopt the agreement, work can begin. The treaty is seen as a crucial part of a global effort to bring 30% of the world's land and seas under protection by 2030. With food prices surging worldwide and certain relief programs set to expire, how the U.S. is trying to tackle food insecurity. Next at 5.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
All you have to do is point. Yes!
1-800-GOT-JUNK can make it disappear.
And that's why they all start dancing.
Woo!
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Memories matter. This bend on Cox Hollow Lake was one of Dad's favorite fishing holes. Crest Funeral and Cremation Service helped us make sure he's never forgotten. Making it personal. It's how you heal. We are Crest. We truly believe your memories matter.
Habush attorneys are the best of what a personal injury attorney is about.
To get the most money for your case, you need to have a law firm that's unrelenting.
We will fight with all that we have in person power, in knowledge, and experience to bring about the result they deserve.
I can't give them their life back how it was, but I can give them the financial compensation to get their life back on track.
Dutch Boy Paint gives every room of your home a fresh new look. With over 1,300 colors to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect look for your interior. Pick up a gallon and update your home with DuraClean Interior Paint. Just $21.97 after 11% rebate. For a paint that's washable, scrubbable, and stain resistant, choose Forever Interior Paint and Primer in one. Create a new look for your home for $29.98 per gallon after 11% rebate at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Do you suffer with pain, numbness, and tingling in the hands or feet? Commonly diagnosed as peripheral neuropathy? Are you taking drugs such as Lyrica or gabapentin that have serious side effects and often do not relieve your symptoms? Your doctor has told you you may just have to live with the pain. Peripheral neuropathy is a result of damage to the nerves, often causing burning, weakness, pain, numbness, tingling, and the most debilitating balance problems. Our facility uses multiple therapeutic methods to help give you relief from neuropathy symptoms with no injections and no drugs. You may start seeing relief after only a few sessions. To determine if your neuropathy symptoms can be relieved, we will do a consultation to evaluate the extent of your condition. Call us today to schedule your neuropathy consultation to find out if you're a candidate for our therapy. Call today.
All you have to do is point. Yes!
1-800-GOT-JUNK can make it disappear.
And that's why they all start dancing.
Woo!
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
The U.S. is taking significant steps to fight food insecurity around the world.
Of course, food prices have skyrocketed globally since the pandemic started. Also, climate events and international conflicts have happened. Now, millions of U.S. households are set to see some key benefits expire. Mike Valerio has more from Los Angeles.
The war in Ukraine exacerbating global food insecurity.
The crisis has been worsened intentionally by President Putin, who's weaponized the hunger of people across the globe.
Last week, the Biden administration announced 3 new partnerships in an effort to boost Ukraine's agricultural sector and help supply the country's grain to the world.
We've got to do 2 things at once. Get food to the hungry now, but also help countries build up their agricultural productivity and resilience.
The conflict directly hitting supplies of critical foodstuffs like wheat, corn, and sunflower oil, while also impacting global agricultural production.
Here's the thing that'll affect the United States. 25% of the world's export of nitrogen-based fertilizer comes from Russia, Ukraine. And we don't have a viable substitute for that yet.
Here at home, many Americans feeling the effects, and for some, it could get worse.
We're preparing for an increased demand for food.
The rising cost of food is now set to collide with an end to COVID-era food assistance policy that increased SNAP benefits.
It's almost a twofold effect. The benefit levels going down, and people are already struggling with high food prices.
An estimated 16 million households receiving SNAP benefits will see them decrease by at least $95 a month beginning this month. But as food banks prepare to provide increased assistance to those in need, there is hope that a strong jobs market and improving wages will soften the blow. In Los Angeles, I'm Mike Valerio.
And we're back with a final check of your first warn forecast in just a moment.
Fry Construction invites you to celebrate spring with our big spring thaw sale. We're talking about savings of 23%. Many of your neighbors already know how we strive to meet and exceed expectations with each and every project. That's why they voted us Best Roofer 3 years in a row. Experience the best of Madison for yourself with Fry Construction. Get on board with our spring thaw sale. Save 23% off gutters or insulation with any full roofing project. Schedule your consultation today at fryconstruction.com.
The Big Share and Online Day of Giving is March 7th. Advance social and environmental justice by supporting the nearly 70 nonprofit members of Community Shares of Wisconsin. Even a $5 donation can make change happen. Donate now through March 7th at thebigshare.org.
Create your perfect room for entertaining, relaxing, and more with patio enclosures. Right now, get 25% off your sunroom. Plus, enjoy exceptional financing. Call today.
Patio enclosures. Extremist Dan Kelly wants abortion banned, even in cases of rape, incest, and the health of the mother. For years, Kelly was on the payroll of a radical anti-abortion group working to take away women's rights. On the court, Kelly will uphold Wisconsin's 1849 criminal abortion ban that strips women of their freedom to make personal decisions on abortion. Dan Kelly, an extremist who doesn't care about us.
Lake Ridge may be a new name, but it isn't a new bank. It's one built on over a century of community commitment. One equipped with all the knowledge and resources of 145 collective years of experience. Monona Bank and State Bank of Cross Plains are coming together as one. As Lake Ridge Bank, we're doing more together for you.
I'm Mark Farrell with Shamrock Farms, and this is my John Deere. We farm corn and soybeans on approximately 5,000 acres. But what we think makes Sloan stand out is the people. One Sunday night, I caught a piece of wire with the combine, and it was wrapping up around the cylinder in the combine. And Jerry Buenig came out at 6:30 that night. He's waist deep into that combine with the pliers, cutting and got me going again that same night yet. And that's why I think Sloan's first.
That was funny. Yeah. That's a sick bike.
Boys.
Miss Sanderson?
See you Monday.
No way.
Coming up on the CBS Evening News, a shocking moment on the Mexican border after 4 Americans were violently assaulted and kidnapped from their minivan. Were they targeted? That's all tonight here on the CBS Evening News.
Let's go to Gary. Final check of the forecast.
A little bit of fog out there right now. There's the live view from the Edgewater Sky Camp looking back toward UW campus. You can see some haziness there, but visibilities are starting to improve pretty quickly out to the west as the wind starts to pick up. So that 2-mile visibility in Madison will start to improve pretty quickly. There are some light rain and snow showers north and east of Wisconsin Dells, north of Columbus and north of Beaver Dam. Those should be out of the area probably within the next hour and a half.
All right, Gary, thank you. CBS Evening News is next. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. We'll see you then.